to Louisville and go on the road as a favorite for the first time since 2019 and get it done. How about that, right? Been a minute since Florida State was on the road as a favorite. And, I guess there's a little pressure that comes with that. You know what I did this morning? And loosey-goosey indeed. How is it, everybody? You good? Whew. There it is, man. Okay, let's exhale and think about this. Everybody there? Let's go. I watched Louisville again this morning, and I got to tell you, man, the Noles should go win this game. I mean, I know, Tom, you've spent a lot of time with it as well. I have too. Florida State should go win this game, and I'm going to be bitterly disappointed if they don't. I'm not jumping off the cliff if they don't. I'm not telling you that it's over and the season is a wash or anything like that. I am saying I will be bitterly disappointed if they don't go up there and get the W tonight. They are the better team. Louisville's got a lot of issues that I think we can expose. It's not that Florida State's perfect, but Louisville's got a lot of problems. And, if you think about it, it's just a 2-game sample size, so it can be very difficult to extrapolate too much from any game or 2-game set. It can be. But Louisville is near the back of the line, folks, out of all the teams playing college football in defensive line yards and rushing success rate, which tells me that Florida State should stay on schedule. And if you're on schedule, there's balance, and they've got to play you honest. And if you got to play Jordan Travis honest, you're in trouble, man. You're in deep trouble. Louisville has scored 3 touchdowns this year in 2 games. Cunningham has thrown for a grand total of 353 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 2 picks. They've done a whole lot of nothing in 2 games. Now, it is fair to point out that Syracuse is a real team and might be problematic for several teams. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting game this weekend.
Yeah, with
Syracuse.
Purdue.
Yeah, it's an interesting game.
It is a good game.
And actually, sneaky, really good game, frankly. I think that line is 1.5, Syracuse favored.
Sorry, I was going to say, you'll have a greater appreciation for Syracuse if you watch that game start to finish with Louisville, because Schrader doesn't look that bad.
He actually looked good, man. He looked very good.
It's interesting as a passer.
Well, I'm a little perturbed because now you've got a game against the team that you chalked up as a win, and now I'm like, okay, Syracuse. I've beat this drum for a while, and we've been around long enough to know it. Bottom line is, every year there's a team that you predict is going to suck that is a much better team than you thought they'd be, and a team that you think is going to be really good that ends up sucking, and or a much worse team than you thought they'd be. Syracuse right now out of the ACC is a prime candidate to be the much better team than you thought they were going to be, and Virginia is the candidate to be the much worse team than you thought they were. In fact, they're not a candidate. They are much worse than you thought they were going to be.
Which is interesting because Virginia's offensive coordinator is now at Syracuse.
Yeah. Well, it is fascinating, but we're getting off the beaten path. The bottom line is Louisville probably deserved a better fate than the final score suggested against Syracuse. Again, I brought up the numbers a week ago. Louisville was inside Syracuse's 40, I think 5 or 6 times, and they came away with 1 score. Conversely, Syracuse was inside Louisville's 46 times and scored every time. So that there's your game. That's how that works. So maybe that game does not reflect how close or competitive it really was. Bottom line is 31-7. They got their ass kicked. And they didn't look good for the first 2 quarters against UCF. Now, there's a couple of things here that I'm wondering about. Where is your head at if you're Satterfield on 2 fronts? Okay. Yes, there are rumors about where the power brokers at Louisville are on their thoughts of Mr. Satterfield, right? They're not in love. Suffice to say, he's got to play well. He's got to get some wins. So he goes into this game 1-1, and this is an ACC game. It's a home opener, and it's a Friday night. It's everybody watching. Do you just decide, look, the experiment that I was engaging in to have Malik Cunningham be a more well-rounded quarterback, to be more of a pocket passer, maybe I'm going to scrap that. Maybe I've decided that's a no-go. Maybe I should just unleash the hounds. Let that guy run and run wild. Because, again, even if you think long-term that is a strategy to get your quarterback hurt and have a disastrous season, In the short term, it might get you a win, and one you desperately need. And if he's desperate, don't want to be 0-2 in the ACC, then maybe you see the all Malik Cunningham offense tonight, because I don't think they can line up and traditionally run against Florida State tonight. I don't think their offensive line is capable of that. So Florida State will win that front. And that means that you're going to, activate Malik Cunningham's, elite ability outside the pocket.
Yeah, Tyon Evans is a good player if Malik is your featured back, because Tyon Evans isn't going to make you miss. He's a one-cut guy who's a bowling ball, but he is a bowling ball. So if you can get him, if you're Louisville's offensive line, to the line of scrimmage without harm and with a little head of steam, he'll fall forward. And that's nice as a counterpunch, but that can't be your whole punch. That can't be your haymaker. If that's your haymaker, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And their receivers aren't nearly as good as last year. So last night and yesterday in general, I watched the Syracuse-Louisville game start to finish. I watched the UCF-Louisville game again.
Yes.
And then I took a look at last year's matchup here in Tallahassee. And it's just amazing to me, looking at those three things, how worse Louisville is at receiver. They just don't have guys that make differences.
Well, they had a stud a year ago.
Right. One is in Alabama. One's gone. I mean, for various reasons, they've lost 4 or 5 guys. Their current players on the outside are taller and they can win jump balls, but they're not going to lift the lid off of a defense, which is what Malik has done to Florida State the last couple of years.
They don't scare you at all. They don't scare you at all. No. What I don't mean, that's not a question. I'm saying definitively, they do not scare you.
No. The only thing is, if we look bad against those receivers tonight, that's a problem for the secondary. It's a real problem, because that's one thing where I still feel a little concerned about corner play. But if you watch what Syracuse and UCF did against Louisville's receivers, they played off or zone a lot. If we have the same game plan that we had against LSU, which is to come up and challenge, it gets fun if you win those battles the way we did. And if you can affect the quarterback the way we did against LSU, there's a lot of ways to find a win for Florida State when you play the chess match out. There's a lot of different ways to find a win for FSU. The problem is for FSU, you're worried about corner, red zone efficiency, and then also, do you make your field goals from 38 to 40 yards, or do you give them good field position? No, because it matters for field position purposes.
Just go ahead and score touchdowns.
I agree.
I'm not going to. And that is another area, by the way, that really stands out when you watch Louisville through the first 2 weeks, is they are a bad offensive team in the red zone. I brought up the numbers inside the 40. Go ahead and put it inside the red zone. They've had a lot of problems there. They've either done something dumb, which is to say let a guy run free or commit a stupid penalty and back themselves up, or they've turned it over. They just have really made a lot of boneheaded mistakes in the red zone. So let's hope that continues. I don't know. I don't know if there's enough sample size to say that's who they are. It's just what's happened in the first 2 games.
But what's fascinating to me is I'm driving in and I'm listening to Sirius XM, and Stanford Steve is on one of the channels and he's picking the games. And the hosts and he come to the conclusion that Louisville, quote unquote, found something in the second half against UCF. And they didn't. I mean, technically, if you really want to go straight literal, yeah, they run blitz and pressure the hell out of the line of scrimmage against UCF.
Well, they had a quarterback they could do that against because he ain't any good. He can't make a throw.
Correct. And also, watching it again, Gus turtled. He's calling quarterback runs on first down. I mean, it is the most predictable first down decision-making. I know.
I think Gus is a moron. I have said this for a long time.
And then, finally, when he has chances to make plays, one is called back. It's a touchdown on a jump ball. It's called on a Gary Patterson special for a hold. I don't know. That crew is kind of ridiculous. And then he can't make the pitch and catch throw. The thing to me is I'm very fascinated to see how Louisville wants to play us. Do you want to play off and force Jordan Travis into 12 and 15 play drives if you can hold up against the run? Because if you play off, I don't know that you can hold up against the run between the tackles. Or do you do what you did in the second half against UCF, which is take the run away by bringing a ton of bodies to the line of scrimmage and forcing him to go pitch and catch?
Well,
because he can, he will, and he'll hit explosive plays in the passing game. It's a pick your poison.
Yeah. This is, again, are you mature enough to handle this? I mean, can you go up there as a favorite, as the better team, knowing where this puts you, what this can do for you? You get a win here, and you go to 3-0. Again, Boston College lies in wait. Boston College here at night with no offensive line, no ability to block it up against a defensive front. That I think Florida State's defensive front, when healthy, is one of the best in the ACC, if not the best, besides Clemson. So that right off the bat, you're staring 4-0 in the face at that point. So real momentum, a chance at real momentum here. And I don't mean the kind of momentum where you just rely on a feeling, meaning you're getting better, more confident. You're finding out more about who you are, what you're capable of. You're giving more to Jordan with each passing game as he proves himself time and again. The confidence that the running backs and the offensive line begin to feel as you rely on them to be the catalyst for your game plan. All of these things that basically happen every time you win a game and you take another step forward and you don't have that setback. Defensively, I think we're always going to be, I shouldn't say always. I think defensively, we want to see at the corner position how you play. We're better at linebacker. I like our defensive ends just fine. Love our safeties. We both do. So the question really becomes corner.
Yeah, and if you're going to bring pressures, bring it with the linebackers or the safeties. The corners were terrible at it. And we probably coached it poorly. I don't know. But at any rate, against LSU, you brought Amari in a couple times and Reynardo once. And all 3 times it's completely stoned. They see it from a mile away.
Well, because they make it that damn obvious.
Yes. But they're much better at bringing pressures with Jamie Robinson and Akeem. So if that's what you're going to do, that's fine. Because they also, what happened last year, specifically in that game that Milton started, but when we would bring pressures, Cunningham had no regard for our linebackers or our safety players.
Well, they weren't.
He would just tuck his head and go because he knew nobody would be there and they're not fast enough to get him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
In this instance, if you do bring a pressure here or there is a chance to clean up on Isle Cunningham a little bit more because you love the speed of Bethune and you love the speed of Deloach. It'll just be interesting to me to see how similar Adam Fuller's game plan is to the LSU game plan, because the difference to me is Cunningham's a better quarterback, so you might want to pressure him a little more often and not play contain. He'll just wait you out. If you play contain in the front 4, he's going to wait for something to come open. Whereas Daniels, he's got a clock that's running too fast for his brain to process.
No, but Daniels was told, and this is why those receivers were so angry, because they saw it in practice. And this is why they, disconnected with the university after the game. They were so angry. They knew that was going to happen because they watched him in practice be a one-read go guy. So basically what they said to Daniels was, you're not real good at playing quarterback. But we don't have a great offensive line. So I can't put the other guy back there because he's going to get killed. So we're going to go ahead and put you back there against our better judgment because you're not real good at playing quarterback, as I just said. But you can run. So here's my advice to you, young man. Here's the play call. This is the read. Ain't there? Go. That's it. That's all. That's what they did. Now, Malik, they won't do that with. They'll let Malik. The problem is they've gone too far the other way with Malik. They've taken away a very special attribute. They've got that guy sitting back there, or at least they had through 6 quarters until the second half against UCF. Yeah. Through 6 quarters, they're sitting over there going, no, let it develop. Throw the ball in the pocket. Man, your offensive line, A, isn't good enough to do that, as was exposed by Syracuse. Our defensive line's better than Syracuse defensive line. It'll get exposed here again.
Yeah.
And then B, they don't have the receivers for it. So I really think they're just going to have to. Now, I don't know if they'll do it, but they ought to just let him run wild. I know that is a recipe to get a kid killed. He's not a big kid. He's not as big as Daniels. He's a 6'1", 190 kid. Drive that dude into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got to put, again.
Yeah, well, and if it's a recipe to get a kid killed, I don't care if I'm Satterfield. It's my job. My job's on the line.
Correct. Well, that's why I said he'll do it. He's not worried about week 6.
Well, and that's why you do everything you can to break out the kitchen sink. They already ran a trick play against Syracuse where they had an end around to a receiver, which was a receiver pass. I'm sure you're going to see a lot more of that type of stuff. Toss passes, whatever, to keep us on our toes. The whole thing today for the defense is to stay in your damn lanes because they love to go counter to the flow of a play. Good thing that they go against our offense in practice. They see that a lot. Mm-hmm. But Jared Verse, if you're on the strong side of the formation, stay at home because you know what? It might come right back to you, either for Malik or the Marshawn Ford kid that they like to release against the grain. You just got to be where you're supposed to be.
I think they will be.
That's how it's 3rd and 6 instead of first down 25 yards down the field. UCF found that out the hard way. And most teams do when they play Malik Cunningham. He's going to make plays, but you've just got to make sure that if he does make a play, it's not because you got cute and you were cheating, trying to make a bigger play than your job says you should.
What is this? I got to get to these money contributions. People are nice right out the gates on a Libation Sunday, loosey-goosey edition. Marcus writes, how can it be loosey-goosey and game day? Agreed. This concept might fry my brain. Dear fans, if we win, can we not turn into Miami with the we're back talk? No, I agree with that. I mean, if you're 3-0, it's a great start, and you're excited about what's to come and what's possible. It still would be 2 of your 3 wins would be like, okay, good. You beat Louisville, who's apparently not good this year, and you beat Duquesne. You're in, and we'll see what LSU is going to be. they haven't played a second real game. The game against Southern's not a real game, so we'll see. FSU fan, right? Signed up for Warchant for just $1. It's $1 if you don't sign up. Get good, yeah. Come on, baby. It's just $1. Woo! Noel Kev has contributed to the fun as well. Sign up for Warchant now, $1. I have a feeling this time next month after we beat Clemson and we are undefeated in top 8. He didn't talk about top 10. He said top 8. He's getting very specific that the $1 deal will be no more.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. Never lose. You are nerd.
You're a nerd. Yeah. That's, if you got a little nerd to you, never lose it.
$2. Never lose your nerd. I got you. Go Noles, baby. It's game day. Can't wait for 3-0. Appreciate that. And then Alex Duncan writes, Jeff, Corey said you could reverse dunk in your prime on Wake Up Warchant. Is that true? Yes, that is in fact true. That's funny. Why did he bring that up? How did that come up? I didn't hear today's.
I don't know.
Wake Up Warchant. There was a time, guys. Your boy had some hops back in the day. It's true. It's true. Actually, yeah. Anyhow, I could jump back in the day. Really jump. But that is no more. I got so mad. You know how when you hear people who get old say things like, your brain knows what to do, but your body, you hear things like that. That is true. In my mind, I should be able to dunk. I'm not going to lie. I was very proud of the fact that I could dunk. I mean, it meant a lot to me for a long time. I broke it out anytime anybody was around. I was like, you want me to dunk? I'll dunk it. Give me the ball. I'll dunk. I used to
like Fred Flintstone with bets.
Oh, yeah. No, I used to do it all the time.
Dunk.
But the point is, I dunked all the way into my 30s. No problem. I'd be able to dunk. I don't know when it went away because I stopped playing league play, Smokey. I was no longer playing the pickups that I used to play. Probably like right after I got married and somewhere in my early 40s, I stopped just playing on a regular basis. Then I had kids, of course, and then now my son is a freshman in high school, and all he wants to do is dunk, right? So he goes out there every day trying to dunk.
He's got a shot.
Oh, he's got a real shot. He can hang on the rim already, and he's a freshman in high school.
Can he really?
Yeah, he did it yesterday. Yeah. So
8-foot rims?
No, 10-foot rims. No. Yeah, no,
I was hoping he was listening.
No, he's in school. If he's listening now, that's a problem.
Yeah,
but
still minus 120.
But anyhow, he used to he would go out there every day, and I showed him. So this is funny, and then we'll leave it alone. It was only because we were.
Don't you wish you lived in the social media age, because then you'd have it on film?
I have a picture. There is a photo of me dunking from high school. So I have a photo. I've held on to it.
Photograph.
It's a photograph, an actual photograph.
Is it a Polaroid?
So there's actually more than one. But anyhow, the point would be when he was young.
Tell me one is in a security deposit box.
No, the point would be that I ended up. Well, Corey has seen a video of me, Doug. That's why he knows it. But I showed Bryce this picture one day, and it wasn't me going to get it. We were moving, and I came across it. I was like, yeah. So
I believe this.
I showed it. He made me laugh and said something to the effect of, "Look at how skinny you were. No wonder."
Oh. Now, was this to poke at you, or was it just kid innocence kind of a comment? And, he didn't realize that.
I'm sure it was to poke at me.
Okay.
It's all right. He's great. He's great that way. But yeah, I'm living in this one way vicariously through him. I want him to get there and do it. And until like last week, he couldn't grab the rim, but he goes out there every day now. And he does it at school. When he's at school, he does it. He goes in the gym with his buddies and they play all the time, and he's forever trying to do it. And he swears it's going to happen. I said, well, your next big thing. I said, this is how it happened for me and my friends. Like, we would go every day, same thing, trying to do it. We thought it was the biggest deal in the world to be able to do this. It started with a tennis ball. Once you can touch the rim, the new goal is to dunk a tennis ball. Once you can dunk a tennis ball, then the new goal is to dunk a volleyball. So you get step by step. And I was like, well, and then at some point, the hard part becomes it's hard to palm a basketball if you don't have big enough hands. And he doesn't have big enough hands yet. But right now, he's just touching the rim. You can grab the tips of it and hold on. I'm like, dunk a tennis ball. And we start talking. It's game day, baby. Libations Friday. Loosey-goosey. Hang in there. Let's get to talking. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination, it's a great big celebration, it's football at El Jalisco, they can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced, and while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you, and thank me later. Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Hey, this is Greg Tish. Here's something you might know about me. I don't drink coffee. I have never had a cup of coffee in my life. Well, that is until now. So why change now? Well, it's because my dear friend at Grassroots Coffee reached out to me after hearing me say that and insisted that I give his product a try. I've been making a huge mistake. The world of coffee is fascinating. I always thought coffee is coffee, you know? No, it's not. I have tried their coffee and it is fantastic. Now, I've got a fascination with learning more about the best coffee in our area. Grassroots Coffee is locally roasted, locally owned, and locally loved. You can find whole bean Grassroots Coffee on the local aisle at Publix, also in Whole Foods, but the best way to get this black gold is to order it online. They literally grind the fresh roasted beans to your preferred level, bag it, write the date on it by hand so you know the exact day your coffee was roasted. It doesn't get any more fresh than that. Order yours now. Just go to grassrootscoffee.com and choose the coffee you want and how you want it, and join me. Let's step up our coffee game together and also support a great local business.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
With a contribution. Thank you so much. Everybody's nervous. I can tell everybody's nervous and excited. Everybody is. He writes, Smithers, release the hounds. Ward, Benson, Toafili, going to have a big game. Yeah, well, FSU fan, I agree. I think it is a big game. I think it's a really big game, and I'm very, very, very excited to get after it. I think that bye week, you get excited with a bye week, but then it hits you probably 2 or 3 days after the Saturday games play out. And you start getting desperate to watch some football, and that becomes the problem. So now all of a sudden we're antsy. And it's not long now, kids. Hang in there. Deep breaths. Let's bring in our friend Lee Sterling in Paramount Sports, as we are wont to do on a Friday, and talk some other college football games in addition to Florida State. Lee, how are you, brother?
I'm good. The funniest thing about bye weeks, I will sometimes call my mom if Miami has a bye week, and I'll say, "Oh, let's get together like Friday night, after for dinner. I'll take you out after work." And she goes, "Oh, is Miami on a bye week?"
She knows immediately.
She knows. I mean, she grew up. My dad was a dentist, but he's actually a coach in youth league, and actually coached me for 2 years in high school, and she's lived it. She's lived both of us watching games since she started dating my dad, and me and my brother playing. So she knows the drill.
All right, brother, let's get to it. Some fun games this week. I can't wait for you to talk about Texas A&M and Miami, but let's start with NC State first against Texas Tech, given the 10.5 here.
So I think that NC State, and I watched that game against East Carolina, I think they just went up against a team that was playing extremely well. And we've seen it. Like, is Texas great? No. But they were ready to play that day, and that happens sometimes. You get teams at home playing a game that can make or break their season. They just play above their head. So I wouldn't judge them just based on that game. I think their quarterback, Devin Leary, is good.
I do too.
Do I think he's great? No, but he's consistent, and he distributes the ball, read coverages pretty well. I like his pocket presence. Tech's quarterback, Donovan Smith, is up and down. I mean, he started off red hot in that game. In fact, they had a 2-touchdown lead late in the third quarter. Then what did he do? He threw 3 interceptions, and they missed 2 field goals. They had to win that game in overtime, and he looked awful. I think he's going to have trouble versus a defense that returns 10 of 11 starters, had 33 sacks, and starting to put the heat on quarterbacks here. And Tech's got some problems at kicker. They were going back and forth. They couldn't even decide. You saw on the sideline who they were going to bring out in the time. They made the right decision there. But State only has UConn up next. I expect them to play maybe their best game of the season here, and Texas Tech to be maybe drained off that affair last week versus Houston. That was a tough physical game here. I don't think they're ready for this. I like North Carolina State big, 45-24.
Nicely done. All right, laying it down. Texas A&M a favorite over Miami. Now, we've seen the Jimbo Fisher special before, which is to say, lose to a team you have no business losing to, run an antiquated 1957 offense that only allows you to run 38 plays because that's what he does. He's pig-headed that way, even though he has better talent than his opponent, and then turn right around and beat Miami specifically, or Florida, or whomever. That's who he is. He's a weird guy. They're given 5.5. Did they do it again?
That's what I said. I'm actually flying out. I'm going to the game.
Good for you, brother. Good for you.
Yeah, I am going. Flying out tonight. Flying into Austin. Good friend of mine, big Texas A&M grad, and he's rolling out the red carpet. You know John Lopez, the sports talk show host in Houston.
I've heard of him. Yes, I don't know him.
So he has his own barbecue sauce. It's the John P. Lopez OG barbecue sauce, and he is supposedly a master griller. So he's having a tailgate. He invited me and 5 of my closest friends to come, and we're going to go to this tailgate. They say he is that good of a griller. So I'm looking forward to some great barbecue, and I think it's going to be a really great atmosphere, and that's why I wanted to go. So I think that Miami's going to be up against it. Couple reasons. Max Johnson looks like it's going to start.
Yep, should have started the year.
Yep, I agree. I watched the spring game, and I'm like, what does he see with Haynes King? Haynes King can't read defenses and not a pocket passer. So that worries me. No Xavier Restrepo for Miami. He's the guy that Tyler Van Dyke loves to target more than any receiver. Their backup is good. I thought he played well last week, Richard Smith. I think he's capable as a backup, but if he needs a breather, they don't have a whole lot of depth. And then I think you're going to see A&M run the football some, and then they're going to do some play action and try to get these Miami linebackers in coverage. They go for fakes and they over pursue, and I'm talking about Corey Flagg and Wayman Steed. And I also think two of their three defensive backs, DJ Ivey and Corey Couch, are not at championship level. So I think that both of these two teams are going to be much better. I always thought that A&M was going to be good, but Miami had a shot playing them early in the season. But with this setup, with A&M off a loss, this is a bad setup here for Miami. I think you're going to see A&M's best effort here, and unless Miami can jump out like 10-0 or with a 14-0 lead, it wouldn't totally shock me because Mario has played that well. He went into Ohio State and won last year. But if they're trailing, by double digits at any time of the game or in the third quarter by a touchdown, I don't see them winning the game. I like Texas A&M 27-20.
FSU tonight, and it's a big game for the Noles. They haven't been favored on the road since 2019. They've looked to be the better team through a couple of weeks here. When you look at these two teams, I think Louisville has been scuffling to say the least. But Florida State hasn't played well up at Louisville, and obviously this will be a desperate Cardinal team. So who do you like tonight with FSU giving points on the road?
So I think Louisville looked great last week. Well, I'd say very good to borderline great. They played with a much better effort. I mean, the first week made no sense. Opening week, they showed nothing. It was like they were going through a scrimmage. I was shocked. Syracuse should have beaten them by 40 or 50 points. They dominated that much. But just think that Florida State's the better team. I thought they should have beat LSU by 2 touchdowns. For Louisville to win this game here, Malik Cunningham has to have a big game. Now, the first game, he ran for 34 yards last week, 121. For them to win the game, he's probably going to need to run for 75, 80 yards. And I just don't like his receivers. Their route running is not real crisp. Don't hang on to the ball real well. And I just think the FSU pass rush could be the difference here. 4 sacks in that first game with 6 tackles for loss here. I'm going to go with Florida State here. I like them 27-23.
Baltimore and the Dolphins in an interesting game. The Ravens favored here as we jump to the National Football League. What are the Dolphins? We may find out here a little bit of who they are. I don't think New England's very good, so I'm having a hard time getting a read on the Dolphins. Talk to me about this matchup.
So Austin Jackson, the right tackle, went on 4-week IR. Big loss for Miami. Not that he's great, but their backups are just not good at all. They, in fact, played 5 different players in that game last week at right tackle. So I think that Tua needs a clean pocket. He's probably not going to have it too often against Baltimore. Baltimore does have some injuries on their offensive line. Ron Stanley will not play in the game, but they have a guy that plays all 5 positions, a kid named Patrick McCarry. I heard some, guys talking about some of these different, national broadcasts that Baltimore's line, they have no depth. Watch Patrick McCarry. This guy grades top 20, top 30% almost every time he steps in. He can play all 5 positions. I don't know which position they're going to put him at, but I think they're going to be fine against Miami, and I think Lamar Jackson's going to have a big game here. Unfortunately, I'm going against both Miami teams this week. I like Baltimore 27-17.
So the Bucs get it done against the Cowboys, dominate the game from start to finish, but they've had a real hard time against the Saints in the regular season. Obviously won the important one in the postseason on their way to winning the Super Bowl. They're giving points here against the Saints. I don't like the matchup. Do you?
No, not for Tampa Bay. You know what shocked me more than anything else about the Tampa Bay-Dallas game? It was the fact that Tampa Bay down even 4 linemen from the second half on, they were able to run the ball all over Dallas. Mm-hmm. So I was impressed with that, but Tom Brady, 1-4 straight up and against the spread versus the Saints with an 8 touchdown and 8 interception ratio since he came over from the Patriots here. And so just think that bad setup here for Tampa Bay, New Orleans. Their defense, they seem to almost know the routes that are taking place here. I'm gonna go with the
Saints.
New Orleans here. I think to win the game outright, 24-23.
Game of the week is a fun one. I'm actually betting this in my real life. How can folks get it? It's Florida given 24.5. That hook is interesting against South Florida. Your thoughts? How can they get it?
Yeah, they want to get the game. Just call here 800-400-9741. Again, the number 800-400-9741. How about this promotion? We're on a roll. Baker's dozen. 13 games, just $97 Saturday and Sunday. So we're on a roll. We've won 4 out of 5 weeks. 13 games, $97, one place, ParamountSports.com.
Brother, always appreciate it. Safe travels. Have fun up there.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, take care. Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. Joins us every week on Fridays as we go through these games, and got us winning tonight. That's a nice thing.
Boy, an early baker's dozen.
I knew you'd be smiling, buddy.
Oh, that makes me happy.
By the way, do you know who the Saints' backup quarterback is?
Yes, Andy Dalton.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I love it early in the season playing the game, who's the backup quarterback. You always find out people are in the league that you thought were out of the league 6 years ago.
Josh Johnson is still in the league, right?
How is that possible?
Right.
How is that possible? Well, he brings up the sore point, which is he brought up the Saints defense looking like they know what's coming. Yeah, Marshawn Lattimore is in Evans' head and has been since what? As long as we've been watching? It's crazy.
Yes. Now, what's interesting is he's had a little bit more success of late, especially in the red zone.
Well, he's just downright taken to throwing him on the ground.
Yeah.
And hoping they don't call it.
Correct.
I mean, that's happened more than once, which I actually applaud.
What's interesting, though, is the Mike from the second half in playoffs last year is the best Mike Evans I've ever seen since maybe his rookie year. And I still think he's tougher now than he was then.
Yeah.
So this is a great chance on Sunday, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, Lattimore will always run with him. He's not going to outrun him
Right,
or run by him. He never gives him a free release. It's always a problem. But then they start to get to tussling, and it's fun to watch.
But if you're going to make a case for Mike Evans to be in the Hall of Fame, and he still needs another 3 or 4 years to be a strong candidate.
But he's moving in that direction.
The trajectory he's on is absolutely Hall of Fame.
Yes.
But it was what he did in the final 8 to 10 games last year, including playoffs, that is truly special. I mean, that is a different level he went to, especially with Godwin hurt. So maybe there's a different kind of 13, except he always gets banged up. So,
and Lattimore, I mean, if you guys have not watched Saints Bucks, it bothers me because I'm rooting for the side that loses the regular season matchups against the Saints. But as a football fan and the embracing of the machismo aspect of football at times, that matchup is hilarious. They hate each other, and it's highly competitive. Lattimore has had the better of Evans without question. And he'll tell him about it a lot. But Evans finally got to a point where he stopped trying to either perfect the route or whatever and just decided, you know what? I'm a lot bigger than you. I'm going to grab you by the face mask at times and just yank your head down and hope they don't see it. It's happened numerous times. I'm like, oh, okay. We're just getting down to the root of it all. I'm bigger. I'm done with this nonsense. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
FAMU President Larry Robinson, along with other university staff, accepted a $200,000 check from longtime partner Chevron. The exchange stems from decades of working together with a donation benefiting the students and staff in the College of Engineering. Dr. Robinson says this funding is going to go a long way, and he believes it's going to make a huge difference for the institution. Officials also shared that this is just another step for their partnership with Chevron and hopefully a sign that their work together will continue for many years to come. Local Street Art Group, a local nonprofit organization, they're planning to host a pop-up mental health awareness community event later this month. The event will feature local mental health experts, guided meditation, and sound demonstrations to relieve stress and anxiety. The pop-up mental health awareness event is happening on September 24th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Frenchtown Farmers Market. The event is free and open to everyone in the community. This is Rachel and with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MaclemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with a slight chance for scattered storms. Daytime highs approaching 87. Northeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Slight chance for scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 70. Partly cloudy skies. Slight chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 88. Mainly sunny. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 86.
Sellers Tile does it better for business owners, contractors, designers, and homeowners. Better design ideas, better quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring, better mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions. And Sellers makes it easier with their amazing showroom and first-class professionals. Maybe it's time to get Sellers working for you on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com for better style, quality, and design. Go with Sellers in Tallahassee. Call 656-8453.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
There's a TikTok that's going viral because of a butter softening method. They are putting the Vermont creamery butter in the waistband of her pants. Give it 5 minutes. You can go and measure out your ingredients, and then your butter is ready to go. You cannot do this in Florida.
No.
Because your pants will be full of butter in 2 minutes. Somebody try it. Post on TikTok.
Unless it says juicy across the back.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
.30 is the pregame show. You'll want to tune into that. And then 7:30, I'm sticking on board there for a live watch along. It'll be me and Ira to start. I've not participated in that before. I am choosing, I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to choose to do the watch along as a fan. I'm not going to get into some of the boring stuff. Dominic Robinson does it so well. My version of it would pale in comparison if we extrapolated, did a bunch of breakdowns of formations. I could do it to some degree, not as well as he does it, and I don't want to. I want to do the watch along with Ira tonight in the first half, the way that fans do, because that's the way when I go back on Sundays and rewatch games so that we're prepared on Monday to do the show. That's when I do the analysis part of it. I sit down and really look at what we were trying to do formationally, what got exposed, what we were able to execute and not, who's at fault or who was successful in those kinds of things. And that's when I jot my notes for that. But when I watch games on Saturdays, and in this case, Friday, I can't. Florida State's the lone team that I cannot watch the game without being a fan. And I don't try. I don't try. I'm a fan. I'm rooting for Florida State. There's no objectivity. I can watch and see what Louisville's doing, and I have an understanding of it and all of that. But I'm cheering for Florida State on game day. There's just no getting around that. Now, I can sit in the press box and not cheer. I can be professional.
Most of the time.
But for years, because I know that about myself, because I'm that guy on game day, just like everybody else that gets excited about their squad, that's why I've gone on the roof. Because on the roof, I can yell whatever I want, and I often do. And I can say hateful things or celebratory things, none of which are allowed in the press box.
Yeah, the people shooting the all-22 and then the moths. Those are the only people that hear you.
That's the only one. The guys shooting the all-22 crack up. That's the other reason I go up top on the roof is because I want the all-22, and I'm not going to get it because we don't pay for it. So I got to get it by going and standing next to the folks that are doing the all-22.
There's no service to pay for it either. I cannot wait for two things for college
football. When that happens, because it happens in the NFL.
Yes, they need to have injury reports, just straight up. There's a Thursday or a Friday injury report like the NFL does.
Correct.
Nobody gains a competitive advantage in the NFL. Everybody handles it fine. And if you skirt the rules, you lose a draft pick or you get fined as an organization. Like when New England said everybody's probable.
Well, but they do it all the time still. But yes.
Right, but they get in trouble for it. And look, if you have that done, that helps also sports gambling because we know what's going on here,
right,
where it's moving.
Stop living in the dark, right?
No, Caesars is going to sponsor one of the conferences, and DraftKings is going to sponsor the other conference, and WynnBet's going to sponsor another conference, and that's how that's going to be. So you've got to regulate this whole thing. And then the other part of it would be to sell college football plus with the all-22 the way the NFL does.
Correct.
Make $6 a month on some people like us, and there's your killing.
Well, that's the other reason that when I do, like tonight, when we're going to do the watch-along, without being able to see the shot with the safeties, I can't really get a read on assignments and who was right and who was wrong. And so I don't want to do that because it's unfair to the players.
And we may get lucky because Louisville sometimes is a very wide angle because it's a little bit higher up. But that's where LSU was just, I hope we are good for a lot of reasons, but I hope we are good so we play those primetime games on Saturdays on ABC. You've got to be on ABC because they will give you the Skycast. And when you have that camera,
Correct.
it's basically a very low angle tight copy, which is great.
It's awesome.
You learn everything about every play. But you're right. Standard play-by-play is at the whim of the director of the program.
And you don't get it.
Sometimes they zoom in way too far.
Well, and you don't get it up. Yeah, and at that point, you'd be foolhardy to try to venture a guess at that point. It's
Right.
it's
Then you're just
unfair.
looking at the trenches to see who beats whom.
And actually, that is the one place you can look with standard broadcast. That's what you have to do because line of scrimmage is very important, and you can get a read on how something's going to go. I did see Eric. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you as always, especially on a Live Agents Friday. Let's go Noles. Thank God it's Friday. Jeff and Tom Tallahassee going to go crazy 3-0, baby. Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope. Marcus just steady tipping. Are we going to dance? Here's another couple bucks for Sexy Tom without the glasses on game day. Hashtag not objectifying. No HR Friday is the other hashtag, which I love.
I got to go get a pair. Mine finally are kaput after 8 years. So that's why I haven't worn them in months. I just need to go to an outlet and then go get a prescription.
Well, Tom, if I could, why don't I just reach out to all of the manufacturers around town who do glasses and understand the value they'd be getting by advertising on the Jeff Cameron Show and providing free glasses for myself and you. I mean, we're a walking billboard. There's no reason not to. We can show you the metrics, guys. It's an overwhelming success. So please feel free to reach out and we'll get this done.
There was a super chat contributor last year who said, "Hey Tom, get some new ones. Go to a certain place. I won't mention it." And I'm going to go there probably. It's 18 months later.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Or 13 months later. But that's probably where I'll go.
BJK Sorbello. Is the Jordan Travis crow sandwich the best tasting one you've ever eaten? Yeah, man. I have always rooted for Jordan Travis and have always said that I wanted him to take the next step forward. But I was ready. I was ready to see it, needed to see it before I could go ahead and suggest that it was going to happen because we had no evidence necessarily that it would as a passer. But it has through the first 2 games been incredible. And I hope that continues because if it continues, not only does a really good kid who's worked real hard to better himself reap the rewards, which everybody wants to see, but also because Florida State could win 9 or 10 games with a Jordan Travis that pre-snap reads like the one that we saw against LSU and has every understanding as to where to go with the ball based on the looks that he has before it's snapped. That's what good big boy quarterbacks do, and he looked like a good big boy quarterback in that game.
That's what makes Louisville's plan so fascinating. Because I think the argument you could make is bend, don't break, and let's win in the red zone. And if we win in the red zone, we've got a fighting chance. I think if they are trying to be aggressive and stopping the run at the point by committing a 6th or a 7th guy, you're going to get roasted fast by Jordan. But I could be wrong. They could say, this is what worked for us. This is the adjustment we made at UCF. Let's make him prove it. It's the give and take. And I don't know which way Louisville's going to go. I don't know how smart they are. Maybe they're more Mike McCarthy than they are Nick Saban, but we'll see.
That is the hardest part of the build up to this game. And I get, I'm obviously very excited and antsy. And one of the reasons that we're antsy is, again, we've had a long time between games and we've had a chance to watch the rest of college football play for the better part of 2 weeks since we've played. So it's one of those things where you're like, all right, at first it's nice. You exhale, relax, you enjoy everybody else's game. You kind of enjoy watching Texas A&M lose, watch Florida lose at home to Kentucky, and you're reveling in that lack of responsibility. You could just be a fan and watch the games, and it's fun. But by right around Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, I was done with not having played. I want to see my Noles, and I want to see them continue to improve. I want to know what they are. Every time they play a game like this, if they prove themselves and win the game, you're beginning to feel stronger and more confident in their abilities to go out and win 8, 9, maybe, who knows? The other part of that is watching the rest of the conference play and watching really the rest of the top 25 play and not walking away all that impressed. So any given year, how they do this with the draft. With the draft, they'll say it's a strong draft or a weak draft. Well, that's not really true. Every draft is a chance for an organization to improve their team. There's always a means by which to get better through the draft. What they really mean when they say that is we don't have a bunch of good quarterbacks in this draft. Sexy positions, right? That's when they say it's a boring, not a good draft if there aren't 5 or 6 guys that are going to be the franchise. But there's always a position of strength and weakness in the draft. Well, the top 25, we're tempted right now to say there are no good teams because the top 25 looked wholly mediocre. We're a couple weeks in, man. Georgia's a really good team. Let me guess that Bama's going to be really good by the end of the year. Somebody else is going to emerge, and you're going to go, yeah, you know what? Turns out Ohio State's really good. So we don't know just yet. But what we do know is this. Outside of whatever 4 or 5 good teams, real good teams there are, everybody else looks gettable, and I think that will be sustained. Meaning, why not us? Why not us scooting on up the ranks into that top 15, top 10 by season's end, right? You begin to dream. These kinds of games are the games you have to win if that is going to remain possible. You can't go lose this game. You're better than Louisville.
Yeah, we're close to mattering again for multiple weeks. And then being able to take a big boy cut in an inning that matters, to use the baseball analogy. You win this one, you go 4-0 after beating Boston College. You host Wake, win that game. I mean, then you're at NC State, and there are real stakes. Real stakes.
Yeah. It's silly. It gets downright silly. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Here in our hometown is a local spot where you can take a break from all your worries. A place where everybody knows his name is Smitty's Tap House and Grill. Smitty's deep appreciation for fine craft beers and tasty bar treats sets the stage as the ideal local neighborhood pub. Want to know more? Just visit Smitty'sTapHouse.com to check out the full menu. Come see us at Smitty's Tap House and Grill on Thomasville Road, just north of Cary Forest Parkway. You'll be glad you came, where everybody knows his name.
So let's say you're considering buying a new home in the current climate. All heard that demand is high, inventory is low. So how do you get a leg up on the rest of the buyers all making offers on the same house as you? Oh, that's a toughie. But the first place I'd suggest you start is with a call to my friend Shannon at Legendary Home Loans. Shannon will set you up with a complete pre-approval underwriting. This used to be an upgrade, but nowadays it's got to be standard. You want to get your offer on a new home pushed to the front of the line, you need a TBD full underwriting approval from Legendary Home Loans. You'll shorten or even remove your financing contingency, and the sellers will know that your offer is real and ready to go. It's tough out there these days, folks, so why not have the advantage of a proven winning team in your huddle? Get pre-approval underwriting from my friend Shannon with the one and only Legendary Home Loans. Call now, 844-FSU-LOAN, 844-FSU-LOAN, or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS number 2270146.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love. And you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
This is Andy Cohen. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. Who's protecting you? Give me a call. 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. Helping you is what we do best.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. A veteran New York judge is named to serve as an independent arbiter and review records. The FBI seized in a search of former President Trump's Florida home last month. Ben Thomas has more.
Raymond Deary is a former federal prosecutor and for years served as the chief judge of the federal court based in Brooklyn. He will serve as a special master and have access to the entire tranche of documents seized during the August search of Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, segregating out any that may be covered by claims of privilege. The FBI says it recovered more than 11,000 documents, roughly 100 with classification markings. The Justice Department has argued the arbiter should not be permitted to inspect the classified records. In her order, U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon also refused the department's request to lift her temporary prohibition on its use of those records. Ben Thomas, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, the waiting line to see the Queen's coffin in London has been paused, as authorities say it reached capacity with wait times of up to 14 hours. Correspondent Karen Chamas reports.
Thousands of people flooded onto the London streets, queuing in an orderly fashion to show respect to the Queen. Organisers had to stop new people from joining for 6 hours, as the line stretched 5 miles from Parliament to a park in South London. In the queue, Londoner Caroline Quilty said paying respects to the Queen was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I think it's a moment in history, and if I didn't come and celebrate it and see it and be part of it, I think I would really regret it.
Mourner Kim Taylor-Smith said the monarch played an important role in his life.
It's important for us to come and pay our tribute to the Queen. I mean, we've known the Queen all our life. Growing up with her, it's almost like having a grandmother.
Karen Chamas, London.
And on Wall Street, the Dow is down 354 points, the NASDAQ off 202. More of these stories at townhall.com.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, it's getting close. I say that. I'm just trying to convince myself it's not getting that close. We've still got 5.5 hours. Damn it, man.
Man, you didn't have to say that.
Well, listen, I'm like everybody else right now. I'm ready to go. Nobody's concentrating on work right now. No Florida State fan is getting work done right now. We're all a mess.
That's where it's so great to have this job, because when you focus on work, it helps you pass the time. For most people, you focus on work today, you're just going to do crappy work.
I didn't realize. I'm sure this is originated by Nike. I'm almost sure of it anyhow. But how many different color coordination things are going on this weekend. There's an entire article about it. The lead is us about the ice white unis and all that. But they show that video on ESPN article. And then from there, the next thing they point out, Notre Dame's going to be wearing the all green, the green jerseys for their game against Cal. Oregon is wearing something called, what is this? I think it's
the bamboo offense uniforms.
No, they're actually, I kind of like these Nightmare. Nightmare uniform. It's the official Nightmare uniform for Oregon football. It's black and you got a little bit of, obviously got the yellow, but it looks good. And then you've got Georgia State going with black threads instead of its traditional blue. That's the accent color. So it's black on black on black with just this blue accent. It looks
interesting.
good.
Their blue is good.
Yeah, their blue is good.
I hope that program becomes something in the next 10 years. They're off to a good start.
NC State is going with all black uniforms against Texas Tech. You already brought up Washington. Theirs is the Purple Rain, which is really well done. REIGN. Yes,
okay.
It's purple. We got that gold helmet with the purple W. It looks good. Looks really good. Syracuse is doing the all orange, ugly as hell. Shouldn't do it uniform. Baylor doing the same, as in all green. It's green on green, which I don't love. Utah has a different uniform as well, and I actually like that one. Louisville, apparently, wear red this week is their big thing.
So that's got to be a red helmet. I mean, they already have a red helmet that's pretty nice.
They do.
And red jerseys, red bottoms. There were people joking on the boards in the Louisville community that said, hey, that's good. At least the empty seats won't look empty anymore if we do a red out. So that's how they're feeling up there.
Have you seen K-State's uniform? It's interesting. I like the one side of the helmet with the number on it, but they're doing something different. Rice is doing something nobody cares about. UCF.
All I know is Rice.
UCF. Gold pants, white tops, helmet looks nice. I like it. Well done.
There you go. That's what Plumlee's going to wear.
That'll break your heart. Middle Tennessee doing new uniforms. Auburn doing
My
uniforms.
God.
Everybody this week.
Does Michigan State, did they make that list?
I don't think so.
Good. Because they usually wear the crap and they look awful.
Well, when they wear their traditionals, they look fantastic.
But they like to experiment wearing, gray on gray on.
Yeah, there's no reason.
Kelly green instead of forest green.
No reason. Can we have a beer on the air?
We can on Warchant TV.
Can we have a little bit of a,
but not on the radio.
Of a beer? I'd like a beer. I mentioned at the start of the show, not only my extreme excitement and enthusiasm for tonight's game, but the importance of winning it, and kind of went back and we both have watched Louisville's 2 games
extensively. Sir.
Yeah. I know we have. You get worried that you're going to take too much away from such a small sample size. I do, because I'm when I'm locked in like that, I'm jotting my notes just like you are, and I'm kind of like, it's 2 games. They could run counter to. They haven't looked good in 2 games,
right?
So they may not run half of what we've seen in those 2 games. They may decide to scrap all of that.
Yeah, I think, if you're talking about featuring Malik, they already have shown a couple of things that this is where he's been around for 50 years. So some of the gadgets they're going to run where, it's like a fake handoff, but the running back ends up being a lead blocker for Malik. It turns into a power play at a pistol, but it looks like it's an innocuous, inside zone or something.
They do it a lot.
Things like that. Counter flows. So it looks like they're going to run stretch to the right, but then they release the H back to the left. Oh my God, my linebacker's got his eyes in the wrong spot. It's a gain of 15.
Window dressing, Tom.
They do a ton of window dressing. We should
it's
know
just window dressing
about
guys.
the window dressing. That's what we face when we go good on good every day in damn practice. You should be ready for this.
Jimbo will call it in. He'll tell you, you can't have your eyes wandering.
Well, that's the thing, too. Okay, back in the days of Jimbo, you face an offense like this, and you might get caught for more than you bargained for.
Because you never saw it in practice.
Precisely.
Never saw it in practice. I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, that was the downside of playing non-pro style offenses, is that you never saw it in practice, so you would get fooled by it. You'd fall for the okie doke.
And that's where, if you're going to make an argument for Louisville's defense, it's a tough one to make.
It's a real tough one to make through 2 games.
But if you're going to make one for it, the Malzahn offense that ran roughshod over them in the first half last week are the same exact principles that Mike's going to run at him. I mean, there's one play, it's a jet sweep to the right, ends up being countered to the left, and these are the 2 options the quarterback has. And both would have worked several times, but it's the same thing we run.
Yeah.
We ran it to Pittman. We ran it to Deuce Spann. So there are a lot of similarities between the base offenses for UCF and Florida State. In a way, they've been preparing for a couple of weeks, but they got a personnel problem. So that doesn't magically go away.
It doesn't. And I am still of the mindset, and it doesn't mean it'll happen. And there's another voice inside my head that won't let it happen. I think we are all suffering from the last 5 years worth of results, last 4 years worth of results, where you just kind of refuse to allow yourself to have nice things or believe that it's even possible. It's like you read these stories about people who grew up in abject poverty, and then eventually they make something to themselves. They fight their way out of it, and then they have all the money you could ever want, and yet their habits are still that of somebody who's never had any money, right? They're very, very cheap because they don't know what it's like, right? It takes a while for you to convince yourself that it's okay. We're in that position. Like, I'm sitting here looking at for lack of a better term, the tape. It's not really the tape. I don't want to make it sound like I'm looking at the all-22s. I'm not. But I'm going back and watching those Louisville games, and I'm like, man, we could maybe beat the hell out of Louisville. I mean, the more I watch it, the more that inner voice is going, if you execute, if you don't give them any help in the way of turnovers, stupid penalties, poor special teams play, which is something you worry about, if you don't do those things, that voice, that football mind is telling you, we're the much better team. We could go execute and dominate this game. And the second that voice says, we might even blow them out, you go, you shut your mouth. We're not blowing them out. This is going to be close in the fourth quarter because it has to be.
Yeah. I mean, look, 2 NFL examples. Last night's game, the Chargers are the better team for the balance of it, but situationally, they're terrible.
Right.
You've got a pick 6 of the goal line.
99 yards, baby.
It's a 14-point swing right there.
Well, yeah.
Monday night, Denver and Seattle. Who's the better team? It's Denver, and it's not close, but they fumbled twice from the 1-yard line, and then they mismanaged the final minute of the game. Next thing you know, it's a 1-point loss. So these things can happen, and we're not outside of that margin. We're better than Louisville, but we're not that much better to where if you make mistakes like Denver did or the Chargers did last night, you can't absorb those and still win. I don't think we're that much better. So that's where situations matter greatly. Red zone efficiency matters greatly. If you're at goal to go twice in this game, you come away with 0 points 2 times like we did against LSU, I don't know. You probably lose the game.
We didn't bring this up first hour. We did bring it up some yesterday. And when I went back and watched, it came to mind again. And I think you're onto something with what you said there. And I think it's because there's no conviction. Louisville ought to run tempo. They ought to run tempo. And they dabble in it. They do run it sometimes, especially when they're in a spread, right? They'll run it then, but they don't stick with it. And what I've noticed with them is they don't stick with it if they have a negative result, meaning not a bunch of series of plays or where they fail on an entire drive. One play goes south. One play goes south when they're in spread and they're going. Then all of a sudden, they give up on it completely. And I find that absolutely fascinating. It's just weird to watch. It's like, well, that's just one play, man. Let it go. Keep going. I mean, I understand you got to win first down if you're in tempo, but that said, he'll just, because he doesn't believe in it. So what'll happen is he'll go, okay, we're going to do this, see if it works. Something goes south. I don't like, let's go back to what we always do. So in this situation, make sure, because I think they should run tempo, but just stop it early so we don't have to worry about it.
And if they
Stop
do
it early,
this is, are you going to play it safe or are you going to go swing for the downs tonight? Because it's the same question I'm asking about how you want to play this thing defensively. If you want to sell out to stop the run, you can do that, but then Jordan can make a quick decision and it's in the end zone. But you might be able to limit what we do. So that's the give and a take. Or you can play it safe and say, look, you're going to be able to run the ball on us. We know this, but we're going to force you to matriculate the ball down the field in 6s and 8s. And then when you get in the red zone, we believe that we've got enough installed to prevent you from scoring a touchdown. You're only going to score 3 points. And that's how we're going to win this game, is you're going to amass 3s instead of 7s. But those are 2 different approaches. Those are 2 different levels of aggression. So on offense, the quickest way to get blown out tonight is to run tempo and not be able to execute it. If Louisville runs tempo and it fails, let's say they get in a 2nd and 7, and now it's a dive up the middle to Evans, and it's stopped at the line of scrimmage. Now you're in 3rd and 6, and you just only run 20 seconds off the clock. If Malik doesn't make a play, then you're giving the ball right back to an offense that should be able to move the ball down the field. Now Florida State's got a time of possession advantage that's ridiculous, like we did against LSU, and we're down 10 points. Crap. How do we climb out of this hole?
Mm-hmm.
Because we can't stop them. So it's just it's a question of how desperate is he on a night like tonight?
I think he's very desperate. I think that the season is in play here for Louisville, is on the line. I don't think they can afford to start 1-2 with 2 ACC losses, given the way that they were thought of, his staff, him, were thought of coming into the season. I think it's a budding problem, as in job problem for him if they start 1-2s. I would think that he's going to be desperate enough. Kitchen sink. It's all on the table tonight, man. It's all there. And that is also something you always worry about. Listen, you can convince yourself to be scared of everything if you desperately want something and you fear that it's not going to be given or it's going to be taken away somehow. You can start conjuring many, a wide variety of things that could cost you the opportunity. The truth is, most coaches don't go too far away from what they know, whatever their overriding philosophy is, because you can't rep it. You're going to rep what you are every day in practice. Your core, for lack of a better term, concepts, values, schematically, this is what you are, and then you run plays off of this. Okay? So for Jimbo, smash, all that mesh stuff, outside zone, right? That's what he is, right? And off of that, he had a lot of different things, and he prided himself on being able to do a lot of stuff within that. But his core was still those things, right? Well, when Satterfield is, we know what Louisville is.
Right. Pistol, outside zone.
And they roll him out. They get him out. And all that stuff, right? But if you're desperate, if you've got anything back there that you don't run on the regular, this would probably be a game to see it, to show it. And then that's when I talk about the desperation as well of Cunningham. Like where you let your best player make plays and hope like hell he can stay healthy.
That's where the number one key here is to stay in your lanes for 2 reasons. Number one, Malik will find it if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2, they're going to run gadgets at you. They have to. This reminds me of 2012 FSU Clemson. And I'm not saying that we're as good as the 2012 Noles. Don't get me wrong. But we all knew that Chad Morris, the offensive coordinator for Clemson, had to break out the bag of tricks. Because if you're going to play this thing straight up, they don't have the receivers to do it. Last year, they did.
Yeah, they did.
There would have been a greater concern last year with that group of receivers against our secondary and what we saw against LSU, especially down the stretch, and the miscommunications. And you'd say, look, they can just drop Malik back, and they might have enough to score 30 to 35 points. The reason that Malik's numbers against man coverage last year were so good, I mean, it was an absurd yards per attempt, 9, 11, something like that. It's because the receivers were good.
Yeah.
They're winning one-on-ones a bunch.
2-2 was, they had guys.
They might hit one downfield. Malik against Syracuse threw a pick in the end zone. That's an open post. I mean, hit your man.
No,
Malik.
don't. Go ahead.
If you're Louisville, that's what you're saying. It's there. It's there. So they might hit one, but they don't have the targets to sustainably make plays down the football field and be as open as they've been the last couple of years.
Chad, appreciate you, buddy. Noles -2.5. Woo! I can feel it all the way down to my plums. Red Russians for my gents. Thank you, sir. Maybe tonight after the game.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
I can tell you, and I get it, it's in the spirit of the show. But if we are having a celebratory beverage tonight, it will not be a Red Russian.
No.
You're more apt to have a Red Russian than me.
I've had them.
Yeah, I got you one when we were at the corner pocket.
You were doing guest bartending.
That's right.
Took a video of that. It was good fun.
I gave you a Red Russian.
In a weird way, it's kind of refreshing. In a weird way.
I don't think so.
But no, tonight, if we win, it's about shotgunning a beer on the postgame.
Well, you're going to shotgun a beer, and I'm going to either enjoy some very tasty tequila or perhaps a fine, peaty, smoky scotch.
Also wanted to say thanks to FSU fan 1993 again.
Woo!
Because he's calling for the flea flicker.
Oh, wow. Oh, Beauregard. Yeah. Might I see the flea flicker yet again? Wouldn't that be something? I don't think they'll call.
I hope they don't break tricks out tonight.
No, we don't need to.
This needs to be man's game.
Yeah. You can say it. No doubt about it. Pre-game, post-game, no game at all. Any time is the right time for Zaxby's Platters. Just as long as you're hungry, feed your team with your choice of traditional or buffalo fingers. course, there's always boneless or traditional wings as well. If you're having trouble deciding, get the best of both worlds with a sampler platter. Don't forget that world-famous sauce. Satisfy your chicken craving with Zaxby's platters. Order online or in the app. Your Tallahassee Zaxby's, a proud Golden Chief booster for 17 years. Go Noles.
If you're a business owner of any kind, you need advanced fire protection services. We are AFPS, and we provide high-quality life safety services throughout Northwest Florida, and we've been doing it since 1989, with offices now in Tallahassee. Fire sprinklers, fire alarms, fire extinguishers, hood suppression systems, and emergency exit lights. For all of your life safety equipment, we've got you covered 24/7. We are Advanced Fire Protection Services. For a free life safety system evaluation, visit WeSaveLives.com. That's WeSaveLives.com.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. They can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
Hey, this is Greg Tish. Here's something you might know about me. I don't drink coffee. I have never had a cup of coffee in my life. Well, that is until now. So why change now? Well, it's because my dear friend at Grassroots Coffee reached out to me after hearing me say that and insisted that I give his product a try. I've been making a huge mistake. The world of coffee is fascinating. I always thought coffee is coffee, you know? No, it's not. I have tried their coffee and it is fantastic. Now, I've got a fascination with learning more about the best coffee in our area. Grassroots Coffee is locally roasted, locally owned, and locally loved. You can find whole bean Grassroots Coffee on the local aisle at Publix, also in Whole Foods, but the best way to get this black gold is to order it online. They literally grind the fresh roasted beans to your preferred level, bag it, write the date on it by hand so you know the exact day your coffee was roasted. It doesn't get any more fresh than that. Order yours now. Just go to grassrootscoffee.com and choose the coffee you want and how you want it, and join me. Let's step up our coffee game together and also support a great local business.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service, right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
post what we have there with Prize Picks. I should note before you do, Tom, that
Ooh, I just saw a little bit of your pick.
Oh, did you? Just a pop-it-a-doo.
Little peekaboo.
Warchant match. If you use the Warchant promo code for Prize Picks, it's a 100% match there. That's a good thing, right? That's
Promo
a
code
real good thing.
Warchant.
That's right. Use code Warchant. Ought to use code JCS, but we're doing Warchant, so that's fine.
All right, we get credit all the same.
We do.
You and I, buddy.
Gotta have it. 100% deposit match. Now, with that, if you don't know how it works, well, it's not complicated. A whole lot of overs and unders in this thing. And we like to search the values, the deals that we think best suited any given weekend. For college football, pro football, you can mix and match, by the way. Doesn't have to be football at all. I mean, you could match golf with tennis with football. You could do anything you want, any combination to increase your odds of winning, increase the amount of money you're going to win. The more you marry, obviously, the more you make, but also the greater the risk. So all of that is in there. If you would, Tom, I made a pick today for the purposes of prize picks. I will play this. You guys can follow along this weekend. Let's see if it hits or not. I've got Matt Ryan over 238.5 yards passing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got Lamar Jackson throwing for more than 219.5 yards against the Miami Dolphins. And then I have Christian McCaffrey rushing for more than 60.5 yards against the Giants. The only fear that I have with McCaffrey is that he's always hurt. But for that matter, if he stays healthy, I think he'll go over that 60.5 mark. And those three, if they hit, it's 20. It's a power play. I bet $20 on it to win 100.
Yeah.
Let's hope it happens, man.
I like this play for a couple of reasons. Number one, Lamar Jackson. It looks like since he doesn't have an extended contract, he's more apt to throw the football
and
than
not run the football, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the overs. That I don't think they've adjusted yet, these numbers. So if that's the case, if there's 50 Lamar Jackson yards out there, he's going to allocate those 50 to passing. So he should be at the minimum, the 260 range. Matt Ryan should be pissed off and embarrassed. So should the entire Colts offense, based upon scoring only 20 on the Texans.
I'd go easy on that. He threw for over 300 yards last week. I had him for over 300 yards last week. It was a big day for Matt Ryan in that fourth quarter.
They did well, yes. They did not finish in that. Yeah, they're down 20-7. He like Jameis has a big fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then McCaffrey, you just said it and forget it. I like that one too.
Yeah, that's a good bet. And let's see. I may win $100 with that one. If not, I lose 20.
I too
all right.
had an NFL triple header pick. And here you go.
Let's go.
So the first one is Russell Wilson. That is a Nathaniel Hackett. I effed up. I need Russell Wilson to rack up a ton of yards so I look like less of a fool.
I like that pick. I almost incorporated in my own. All right.
Carson Wentz. All right. That Commanders offense looked all right against Jacksonville, and Detroit didn't exactly stop the Eagles last week either. So I think that's a really low number for Wentz. If it was 275, I'd be scared. 240? You need 240?
Okay.
I like that play. Antonio Gibson should rack up a lot of receiving yards in that game as well. And then Dalvin. I think the scout on Minnesota has to be that we've got to stop Justin Jefferson. My God. Don't do what Green Bay did.
Yeah.
So we're going to double him. Let's not die by the explosive play down the field. Let's allow them to run the football a little bit more and allocate our resources elsewhere. Dalvin already, I think he went over 84.5 last week anyway, and he wasn't even the featured piece.
It's close.
He was right there.
I had him. It may have been slightly less in rushing, but he also had the combination of catch as well. So, yeah.
And it's 35 points that Philly gave up to the Detroit. So, yeah, I like Dalvin to go over 100 in this game. So, there's my triple.
And you sprinkle a little $20 action on it to win 100. Let's find out if it happens. Appreciate that. There you go. It's that easy. That is Prize Picks, 100% deposit match. We got a bet with my mother in a moment. I would note, Ryan, your chat question or observation is a fair one. I'd like to see Johnny Wilson teabag Brownlee in the back of the end zone for the first touchdown tonight. Not a technical term per se, or football term, if you will, but I think we catch your drift. That'd be great. That'd be great.
Well, that requires Brownlee to move backwards, right? If he comes up and run support, he's still a very good player. He's made a couple big hits. Player. But
I actually think Florida State would have been better off had we not lost Brownlee. I understand why we did.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
We're still thin there. So, yeah.
Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The city of Quincy is using American Rescue Act funding to allow and assist its residents with catching up on utilities. City manager Robert Nixon announced an initiative that will give a one-time $100 credit for utilities for people living within city limits. There are roughly 200 residents delinquent on their utility bill. After feedback, city leaders felt this was a necessary step to help. After suffering the loss of more than 24 parrots in their care, a Florida nonprofit is offering a $20,000 reward for the safe return of the animals. Officials with the Parrot Outreach Society said that their facility on Elizabeth Street was broken into around 3 a.m. Tuesday. They reported that 28 birds were stolen with breeds including cockatoos, Amazons, and conures. Florida Crime Stoppers is seeking tips on this incident. You can leave an anonymous tip by phoning 1-800-780-8477. They may be eligible for a cash reward for information leading to an arrest of a suspect or the recovery of the birds. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems. Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with a slight chance for scattered storms. Daytime highs approaching 87. Northeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Slight chance for scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 70. Partly cloudy skies. Slight chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 88. Mainly sunny. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 87.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn at Finn Chiropractic. Wanted to let you guys know chiropractic doesn't just get rid of back pain, neck pain, and headaches. It can help with sleep. It can help with digestion. Maybe you have pain down your arm. But chiropractic is one of the safest, most natural, most effective ways to get to the root cause of your problem. So if you're a loved one or having a problem, even if you think we might not be able to help, make a new patient appointment today at FinnChiro.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com. Because your chiropractor loves you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pastor Tabner was alone with a female church employee. She in a towel and he in his boxers. The charismatic 41-year-old Hurley explained the two of them had been making chili and gotten food on their clothes. With the hot dogs that they were making, we are hoping that the pastor used the right condiments.
Think? There was at least one hot dog involved.
I don't know what you're talking about. We were just making chili dogs.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road, and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Cleveland Carolina game, and she was right to stick by our beloved Bucks. I paid a dear price for being a traitor and taking Dallas. If you would, sir, cue it up.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room!
Ma, the meatloaf! Take it away, Jeffrey.
Hello, Mother. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. I had the Chiefs last night, but I wanted to lose the game, and I only took them because they were at home. Who did you have?
I had the Chiefs too, and I agonized over it.
Me too.
Felt like the Chargers should have won that game last night.
They should have.
I know. I felt bad for Justin Herbert. I thought, I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't have a broken rib, because I know they hit him like right under his pads, like, or whatever, and the mother in me, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, that looked painful, didn't it?
Painful.
I think he's good to go. Just going to be a little pain tolerance deal there, but they'll shoot him up with Toradol. He'll be all right. Doesn't appear to be anything broken, at least not initially last night. So that's good news. By the way, something to note here, and Tom, I'll bring this up to you as well. In the loss, the Chargers have now impressed me 2 weeks in a row as being potentially the second best team in the AFC. And I know I shouldn't do that because we've seen Patrick Mahomes be great and all of that with all those weapons, and the Chiefs did win the game. But the Chargers defense is so much better than a year ago. And if that's the case, look out, man, because they're going to score.
Yeah, they got to come away with those interceptions. The Samuel one in the end zone. You got to make that play.
Sante.
And then, and he's really good. And he should have been credited. That was a Bert Emanuel play for me. I think that was a pick early in the game. But Staley's got to be better, dude, with fourth downs. He doesn't know who he is. And that's a problem. So when you're trying to discern in that little margin who's better, the Chargers have to prove it to me at this point. They lose those little things all the time.
Well, it's early, but I still like their defense a lot better. All right, Mama, you ready to go?
I hope so. I think there's a lot. I always think the first week is the hardest, but I don't know. There's a lot of these games this week, it seems to me, that are could go either way. They're kind of iffy, and I don't know. So we may end up having a lot different this week. I'm not sure, but I did have Kansas City last night.
We both did. We enter into week 2 dead even. All right, the Dolphins are at the Ravens. Who you got?
Yeah, I really want to pick the Dolphins, but I picked Baltimore.
I did as well. The Jets are on the road against Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm picking Cleveland.
Me too. The Commanders, that'd be Washington, on the road at the Lions.
Yeah, that's one of my games, but I took Washington. I took the Commanders.
I'm going to take the Detroit Lions in a shootout. I like the Lions to win this game. So here we go. We got our first different. Colts and Jags.
Oh, Colts and Jags. Yeah, I took Indy, but I don't know about that game either. I'm very iffy about that, but I'm taking Indy.
I'm not iffy at all. I think Indianapolis is going to kill Jacksonville.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, Tampa Bay at the Saints.
Oh, now I am taking the Bucks again. See, I wasn't a traitor, but this game they just never seem to be able to beat the Saints, but I think this might be the time that we do. I think our defense is going to come through, and hopefully Tom is he's tired of getting beaten every time, except when it counted. Now, when we went to the Super Bowl, that was fantastic. But anyway, I'm taking the Bucks.
I'll take the Saints. It is a regular season game, and the Saints have had our number in the regular season. Of course, you were right to point out that the only time it really mattered that we win, we did in their house and ending Drew Brees' career, flick them off on our way to winning the Super Bowl. Yes.
I know. I loved it. Well, anyway, all right. You may be sorry you're a traitor again.
We'll see. I hope so. I'd like to lose that game.
I know.
The Panthers against the Giants.
Yeah. Golly. See, I took the Giants.
I did too.
Oh, good.
I don't believe in the Panthers at all.
Yeah.
I don't think Baker Mayfield's any good.
Well, I know you don't. I'm actually hoping he will do well, but not this week.
The Patriots at the Steelers.
Oh, now that is a game.
Hideous.
It's terrible, and I just can't believe New England's as bad as they looked last week. But Pittsburgh with T.J. Watt being out, I think that's a big loss. I took New England.
I take the Steelers. I don't think either team is any good at all. I'll take the Steelers to win in an ugly, sloppy game.
All right, that's 3 different already.
I know. Here we go. We won't have a difference of opinion here. The Falcons are on the road against the Rams.
No, I will take the Rams.
Yes, the Seahawks are at the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm taking the 49ers.
Me too. The Bengals are at the Cowboys.
Oh, the Bengals.
Me too. Texans at Broncos.
Yeah, now I have to believe Denver's better than they showed last week. I'm taking Denver.
We are in agreement again. The Cardinals are at the Raiders.
I'm going to take the Raiders.
In a blowout. Bears at the Packers.
Oh, that's another good one. I like Justin Fields. I don't know. I just can't believe Green Bay is going to be. I think they're going to be mad. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to. He's probably been yelling at everybody all week long. I took Green Bay.
Yeah. I didn't wrestle with it either. The Titans are at the Bills. Good game.
Yeah, Buffalo.
Yeah, the Titans will play desperate, and that game may end up being closer than it should be, but I like the Bills to win. Vikings at Eagles, which is a real good game.
Yeah, that is a really good game. I took Minnesota.
Take the Eagles. I believe in the Eagles. I do. I think that's a war. It's a fun game. I kind of believe in the Eagles. I really do.
I think it's one of those games, though. It's like if you pick them kind of game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I'm not going to bet the game. I'm not going to touch it in my real life, but I actually kind of coin flipped this thing when I got up this morning. I like this Eagles team. They're very physical. They run the ball. I would try to keep the ball out of Minnesota's hands. This is a fun game. I'm really looking forward to this game on Monday night. So I will take the Eagles. We got 5 different?
1, 2, 3, 4. I think we've got you. I've got New England. You got Pittsburgh. I've got the Bucks. You got the Saints. I've got Washington. You've got Detroit. And then I've got Minnesota. You've got Philadelphia.
Here we go.
Is that all? That's all of them? We didn't miss any?
I'll go back and take a look. It's 4. I think you're right. It is 4.
Yeah, we have, oh, Lordy sakes. Well, we'll see. Some of these games, I would like Pittsburgh to win that game, but I just don't know if they will. I just feel like New England's going to, I don't know, although they did look terrible last week.
I think New England stinks, Mom.
I know, I do too, but I just feel, you just always think that Belichick's going to come up with something.
I don't think so anymore. I don't think that anymore.
Well, after this week, if they lose again, I'll agree with you.
Yeah, I don't, it's easy to think that Belichick's going to come up with something when their quarterback is Tom Brady.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's true. That's absolutely true. And when you guys were you were talking about the Kansas City game last night, but I was talking to Aaron earlier today, and your brother. And
I know who Aaron is. Yes,
I know you do. Well, anyway, if everybody doesn't know, and he was talking to me about the amazing athletic ability of Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, but he was like, he just watches them and he can't believe that they do what they do, and it really is true.
He said the same to me, and we've talked about this over the last 2 years on the air that we're ushering in a really good era of quarterbacks. It's kind of funny because, when Peyton Manning retired and Drew Brees retired, and people are assuming soon Tom Brady will, and then obviously Big Ben Roethlisberger, we were naming like 4 or 5 guys that were, generational talents, guys that are going to the Hall of Fame, guys that are all-time great, that have won championships, et cetera. And we thought, man, there'll be a dearth of really great quarterback play here real soon because we're losing so many of the great ones of all time. Nay. We've got at least 4 or 5 guys. between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, as you just mentioned, Herbert. Just leave it at those 3. There are more. But if you just take those 3 guys alone are freakish in terms of arm angles, size, speed, ability. Yeah, all of it.
I know, like that sidearm thing that Patrick Mahomes did, and he kind of like threaded the needle between 2 people, and he pitched it. It's just crazy. And then that pass that Herbert did, where he was already hurt, and he threw that like
it was a laser.
I was just sitting there. My mouth came open. I was like, "Holy smokes!"
Yeah, no, he's fun to watch. I love it. He's got the best arm. It's fun to watch him let it go. Mom, gotta go. Love you.
All right, love you. Y'all have a great weekend. Good luck with Louisville.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There's Mama. And there are the wagers. There's listen, all of those guys that we just named, it's so much fun to watch. Those 3 in particular. Josh Allen is, I think, currently the best quarterback in the NFL. But we're not talking about too many, it's the gradient, right? Like
standard deviations.
Yeah. If you just think about, Patrick Mahomes, you cannot ignore the fact that not only has he been brilliant, he's been brilliant longer, won a Super Bowl, all of that. But then also, when you just look at Herbert's natural gifts, you're thinking to yourself, well, nobody should be that big, that strong with that. It's insane.
So again, last night, the end of the first half.
Yeah.
With the clock management here.
No, but you know what? This is a lifelong thing. I don't understand how it happens. To me, I've watched in college. Corey brings this up a lot, and he's right. We all do as diehard football fans. Clock management. Nick Saban last week was a dumbass with clock management. I do not understand. And Nick Saban's the greatest coach in college football history. How in the world do you have these guys elite at what they do? We would all concede, know more about football than we could ever dream of knowing. And they cannot get something as simple as clock management at the end of halves right ever.
But what's so crazy about it's 2 things. It's replay. How do you not get that right? You have the answers to the test and you still get it wrong. You know, that's the hard part there.
Correct.
Coaches have been talked down by analytics people to allow for a different way of thinking. So the coaches that are still doing really well in the way of succeeding at the college and pro level now will hear that conversation. They never would before. 4th and 1, you punt, always, if you're not in field goal range. Now they hear the conversation. How is it that you've allowed yourself to go there and not understand and use the resources on clock management? Because if you're not going to call the timeout before they punt in the second quarter, great, Andy Reid. All right, that's one way of doing it.
That's fine.
You're going to get pinned down. Why are you rushing up to the line of scrimmage on second down? And Los Angeles had to use no timeouts before they get the ball back. They should have spent one, I think, on second. But then also,
but I can get into that.
Yes, right. You know, but then also catch the effing ball.
Well, that's a different
What's
thing.
the punt returner doing?
Yeah. No, I get more upset with just the simple math.
So
of it.
bad.
The simple math of it, and also, what are you intending to do? It is remarkable that somebody could make it to the National Football League as a head coach and make that kind of money and know that much about football. Again, you can't fake your way to the National Football League. You're not going to accidentally become a head coach and not know football. They all know football. Doesn't mean they're good coaches. They all know football, right? Okay, now listen. How in the hell what we watched with that I'll never forget this. What we watched with that Denver-Seattle game at the end of that game was criminal. Like you could fire him that night.
Yes.
If you're capable of that level of stupidity.
Well, I mean, you know, they've done the bad beats bit for years. Nick Bakay used to have a Sunday or a Monday segment on SportsCenter.
It was actually really funny.
He and his wife. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was always good.
He was great.
And so
what happened to that guy?
I have no idea.
Did he get arrested? What happened? Why in the world did he just
He
suddenly
did look
disappear?
shady.
But he was funnier now.
Yeah. And his wife was good too. Usually when that happens, you're like, I don't know about the bit.
I could have done without her.
But it was funny.
Yeah.
And now they do bad beats. You could do a segment every week on poor clock management.
It's just
you could fill it up. There's enough every week around football.
Between college and pro, if you're gonna get 4 examples.
The Sark one, in the first half of Texas Alabama is inexcusable. It's 25 seconds. The clock is running. You can call a timeout on a first down. Instead, you run up to the line. Okay, all right, I don't love it, but run the play. And you run a quick out to get out of bounds? The whole purpose of that play is to get out of bounds and not waste the timeout.
The whole thing is silly.
I mean, guys.
Yeah.
How can we get into the conversation the way analytics people did? How did they get in the room? Because if we can get in the room, we're going to make a lot of money to be a clock management coach.
No, they know, though. They do, because there's no way that after that game is over, when the moment, is no longer at critical mass, when they go back and watch the film, they're kicking themselves. They have to. Somebody in that room is going, Coach, in retrospect, we might have wanted to, call timeout there. We had a minute left when the play stopped. You ended up calling timeout anyhow with 20 seconds so that we could kick a 64-yard field goal. I'm just saying, if we wanted to talk about it, we could have called it at one. There was no
that egregious example. Sure, but there's a lot of ones. I don't think Sark learned a lesson. I don't think Saban learned a lesson from how they managed those two things.
They run it out. So he got, by the way,
how does that ever happen?
And he goes out of bounds. He goes out of bounds.
Right.
Make them use that timeout. That's the other thing, is making other teams use timeout.
Correct.
They never think that way.
You got to help them. Yeah, make them burn their assets.
Make Texas call the timeout there.
Nick has been around too long for that to ever happen, is my point. So that means things like that happen all the time for him.
It's weird. I don't understand it. Drives me nuts. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced, and while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you, and thank me later.
Whitten Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Whitten's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whitten Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at whittenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Hey guys, it's Greg Tish. I know it's still warm outside, but Hearth and Patio wants to remind you that the cooler temperatures are coming. They will be here shortly. Now is the time to get those fireplaces inspected, get those fireplaces upgraded, or get a new fireplace for inside or for out. Or how about a wonderful fire pit to have out in your backyard where you can enjoy the cooler temperatures when they finally do get here. And yes, they will get here. Call my friends at Hearth and Patio today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. Have them come out, inspect your fireplace, tell you about the upgrades, tell you about all the amazing ways that Hearth and Patio can make you feel comfortable when the cooler temperatures finally get here. That number again, Hearth and Patio, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282 or online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Cameron Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Which is very cool. But, you can stop in there to any of those 3 locations and get the latest and greatest CBD and Delta-8 products on the market, natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep, all at your fingertips there at Tallulah. And when you go in and say, hey, man, I heard you on Cameron, and that's good for all of us. We all get happy about our relationship with Tallulah.
Are they paying you in Delta 8s? What's going on here?
Well, don't worry about it. Probables, fired up, big man.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
I told you guys to bet on the Mets last night against the Pirates. I was right. That was an easy one. We'll see about tonight. That could be a little bit different. Rockies, Cubs. That game 1-0 Cubs. Marcus Stroman started the game. They're in the second inning. German Marquez for the Rockies. Marlins, Nats. Jesus Luzardo, Josiah Gray. We got the Orioles and the Blue Jays. Jordan Lyles and TBD. Royals, Red Sox. Jonathan Heasley and Michael Wacha. Aforementioned Buccos, Metropolitans. Mitch Keller shut down the Mets the last time he faced them.
Not just screwing Mitch Keller.
That's correct. But he's gettable if he's not right on that day, as the 5-10, 4.01 ERA will testify to. Tuan Walker goes for the Mets. Rangers, Rays, Martin Perez, Corey Kluber. We got the Twins and the Guardians, Bailey Ober, Tristan McKenzie. White Sox, Tigers, game 2, I think it is. Lucas Giolito, Matt Manning. Phillies, Braves. Ooh, Phillies, Braves.
Come on now, Phils.
Rangers, Suarez, Max Fried. A's, Astros, Adrian Martinez, Justin Verlander. Yankees, Brewers, Frankie Montas, Adrian Howard. CBD for the Reds.
CBD.
Hey now.
All right.
Cardinals will throw Jack Flaherty. Only Flaherty. Mariners, Angels, Robbie Ray.
Hey.
Michael Lorenzen.
Sorry, I was doing a CBD pitch.
I know. Could be like Doc Ellis, tripping on acid while you're pitching. Through a perfect game. Padres, D-backs, Blake Snell, Madison Bumgarner, and finally Dodgers, Giants, Dustin May, Logan Webb, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Boom, 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 boom.
There's the floating hedgehog.
Always fun. Look at him. Look at him. He looks so happy. Garrett, I don't know anything about Scott Frost showing up late to practice. If that's true, then that's ugly, and I don't know anything about that. He asked the question in the chat. Here's what I'll say. If that is true, that's a man who's saying, kiss my ass on Main Street, fire me, I want my money.
How do you feel about that 11.5 number? That's last I saw.
Well, so Mickey is the new quarterback, the former quarterback at Nebraska who's taking over there as the interim coach, and he is a guy that the players love. So I worry that they'll play their ass off this weekend for him in a rivalry game against Oklahoma. I don't know that they're talented enough. Their defense is dreadful. It's one of the worst in football right now.
They don't need to win.
No, they just have to cover the 11.5.
Yeah.
I don't know if I wouldn't bet that down to a number that's less than a touchdown, and then I feel comfortable there. I don't like messing with teams that for the moment might rally around somebody. Now, I don't know that they will, but they love that guy, so we'll see.
Does Louisville love Scott Satterfield?
I don't think so.
We're going to find out tonight.
We're about to find out.
If they get down early, we're going to find out how much they love.
Just lay down, guys. You deserve a better coach. It's time to just lay down. You're going to get beat. You know it. Let it happen. Get crushed. Get him out of there. That's the hope. We've got the pregame show at 6:30.
Yeah, we do.
You'll hear from me in a few hours, as well as Tom.
Get a little Zaxby's in between. Get some nourishment.
Yeah, good times. Good work, sir.
See you shortly.
Good work out of you as well, Director Matthew. Be well, everybody. Go Noles! We'll talk to you in a couple hours. Hang it.